Thanks for the email. I thought it'd be easier if I actually showed you the way that we solve these. So the solution that you were using, I think you probably could get there if we're going to think about Pythagoras and things. But part of what we do in the class is try to avoid, almost completely avoid algebra, avoid relying on things like theorems. There are some fundamental kind of rules, especially when it comes to multiplication, the distributive property, substitution, things like that, that they do need to know. But with this visual stuff like this, I try to totally step away from Pythagoras and all those sorts of things and sort of rely on even more simple concepts. So I'll show you how I would show them to solve a problem like this. So we know it's a square, so we've got 20 and 20, okay? And we know the area will equal 400. So how do we figure out the area of the rectangle here in the middle? Well, one way we could do that is by sectoring out this square and then counting the area values proportionally of the whole thing. So here's what I mean. I didn't draw this exactly to scale, but you might see that if I kind of drew a line here, okay, and drew a line here, and then drew a line here to the point, and then drew a line here, you can sort of see already that this portion is a half of this total square that I've made, okay? And it's the same with this one. This is also a half of this total square, right? So if I divide this up evenly into fours, let me move it over a little bit here. Boom, just like that, okay? And this is, like I said, it's a bit wonky, but on the paper, this is a perfect square, okay? You can see what I've actually done is I've divided this into 16 equal squares, and then the lines that are transversing through those squares here are actually cutting them off exactly in half. So I can start counting halves. So what I would do is I would say, okay, I've got 1/2 of a square here, 1/2 of a square here, 1/2 here, 1/2 here, 1/2 here, 1/2 here, 1/2 here, and 1/2 here. So how many halves do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've got 8 halves, or I've got 4 holes. Plus, I've got holes here in the middle, a whole portion here and a whole portion here. So 4 plus 2 is 6. Okay, so this thing, this figure, this rectangle inside the square is taking up 6 portions out of the whole square, which I did as a 4x4 array. And I chose that 4x4 array because it would exactly cut off the edge there to make the half portion, right? So I've got 6 holes over 16. So 6 over 16 of this whole thing is covered by the rectangle. I do 6 over 16 reduced to 3/8, and then I can say, okay, that means that this whole thing is 3/8 of 400, 400 being the area, right? And then doing 3/8 of 400, oh, you can't really see that, can you? Sorry, I'll write up here. I'll write over here. 3/8 of 400, when I teach the boys or anyone else how to do this, okay, we know that of means multiply, and a whole number is written over 1, so 1200 over 8 equals 150. And there you go. So it's an elegant solution. And I like it because it doesn't rely on things like square roots and figuring out Pythagorean triples and all that kind of stuff, because that would be, not that those ideas aren't valid, but that's an extension upwards, and so to speak, like that's not year 6 content or year 7, that's like year 8 or year 9 content. And a lot of what we do in the classroom is not going up like that. I'm not interested in teaching them year 6, 7, 8, 9 content, okay, usually. There are some exceptions to that rule, but it's more about going broadly. So we look at these problems and what are different, simpler ways we can solve them, because I think this is what is really going to strengthen. And these are the things that are really, these kinds of viewpoints and perspectives are actually in some ways a lot more challenging than just giving the kids a formula and saying work it out. That's actually a very mechanical process. That's not working mathematically, so to speak. Working mathematically is seeing something like this and being able to apply maybe a more elegant or simpler solution. Anyways, hopefully that helped, and be in touch soon. Thanks.